So I am at Valley Forge National Historical Park in Pennsylvania. I remember the first time I came here very distinctly. I was probably 16. No, I was definitely 16. I had just recently gotten my license, probably a month or two prior. Didn't have that much driving experience despite having my license. And I decided that I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to get out of the house, go for some sort of epic bike ride, something like that. So I talked with a couple of my friends from high school and we were like, yo guys, let's go to Valley Forge. Everybody went to Valley Forge for history class at one point or another. It is in fact the Valley Forge, where in the winter of 1777 to 1778, where soldiers during the Civil War hid out from the people who were occupying Philadelphia. It was awful. It was really awful. They were naked and they were starving, and it was a freezing, frigid winter, and they stayed here. And so this park is really historical. It's, not to mention, beautiful. And I have always come here not only for history class projects and summer work, but also just to bike ride, enjoy the absolute peace and quiet that you can find here, and also because I'm a history nerd, and who wouldn't love this? But anyways, we decided to come here, and I decided to drive because I wanted to challenge myself to get more driving experience, even though I hated driving on the highway. So we finally decided to go. We load up the car with our bikes. We did this whole thing where we like layered it with blankets so the bikes wouldn't scratch each other. It was a whole thing. And we load up the car, we get in, and we start driving. And I just distinctly remember like sweating the whole time that I was driving here because I was so nervous. I hated driving on the highway, and I was driving two other people, so I was now all of a sudden responsible for two other lives, and I just remember being so scared. And it felt like we were driving for hours when in reality it's like a 25-30 minute drive tops, and it feels a lot shorter than that. Like it's not nearly that long. So we finally made it. We unloaded the bikes and we went for a really long bike ride around the park. We passed by all of the huts or like little cabins that they had built to stay in during that winter. We learned some history. We got really exhausted. It was like August. It was burning hot. It was kind of a bad decision. But I just remember that being one of the first instances in my life where I really challenged what felt normal to me. I really challenged my idea of normalcy and productivity, and I got out of my comfort zone. I went on what back then felt like a road trip, but is now just a short trip around the corner. But I went on what felt like a road trip for the very first time, and that really did drastically shape the person I became in the future. It drastically altered how I viewed travel and what I thought I was capable of as a 17-year-old traveler at the time. And the reason I'm telling this story, despite just reliving a happy memory in my life, is to kind of delve into the topic of change and evolution and growth within yourself. I was having a really good conversation with my friend Maddie last night. She lives in Arizona, I live here, and we were FaceTiming for the first time in a few months, and we got into a really good conversation about change and evolution and personal growth. There is, of course, that old stereotype that says, like, you should never be afraid of change because you'll become the bigger and better version of yourself. But I was doing some writing the other day, and I really do think there is more to that story. It's not just a matter of accepting the fact that change is going to make you a bigger and better version of yourself, but it's also realizing that you cannot set limits or expectations on who you might become, how the next day or week or month or year will go. And I think this becomes particularly important going into the new year because we all tend to really, really limit ourselves. And it's quite ironic too, because when you set New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, you think that you're setting them because you're trying to actively become a better version of yourself. Whether that version of yourself is thinner, fitter, more intelligent, kinder. But the issue with creating expectations around a year or about your personal evolution and what you expect out of yourself is that you severely limit yourself to what you can presently comprehend. And instead of trying to say this in an eloquent way, I'm going to read you guys something really quick that I wrote the other day. It was one of those quick, random writing sessions in which, while writing the piece, I realized something that I hadn't thought of before. I don't know if that makes sense. But essentially, I started the piece and I was just wanting to get my thoughts out about the new year and expectations. And I ended up writing something that I wasn't even aware of at the time. So anyways, this isn't edited, it's not extremely well written, but I do think it summarizes what I'm trying to explain in a much better way. So I'm gonna read this now. Have you ever thought, in a fit of peace as opposed to of rage or frustration, how damning it is to declare a year's worth before it's even begun? Because we do it often. We act as serial assumers, dictating blame and goodness and irrationality to everything we see fit. We curate lives that have their worth lounging on the backs of ideals so perfected, so anti-problematic that our only destinies are failure. And then we let out a measly whimper when these inevitable paths become our harsh, assumptive realities. To decide the worth of a year before it's begun is like pointing 3 fingers back that say you deserve exactly what can be envisioned. That the only things worthy of experiencing are what you can presently comprehend, nothing more and nothing less. But a year holds more value than that. Your warranted experiences are worth more than that. You can't choose to feel the full weight of a death, to put into words why exactly someone's indifference has brought you down to your knees, or properly explain the reasons you have yet to forgive your mother. All you're responsible for is feeling it all, and then doing your very best to put the pieces back together. But in a year's time, you will learn that what is not even on the horizon for you, the occurrences that have yet to be fathomed, they will all happen, they will all be felt, and you'll be forced to confront them, unprepared but all too understanding. There is a jarring simplicity to it, a primal necessity of discomfort. Things won't be good for a while, and it's your sole responsibility to be all right with that. So, I wrote that. And for the first time, I realized how truly and inexplicably limiting it is to set a resolution, to set a goal, to decide how you're going to evolve before you've had the chance to just experience it all and become that version of yourself. When I began the year 2016, I looked forward into the next 365 days, and I set goals for myself. I thought certain things were going to happen. I said to myself, I will graduate high school in June. I will go for several trips during the summer. I will save up money until the end of the year, and then I will go on an epic backpacking trip through Europe instead of going to college. It is now December 14th, 2016, and Jamie of 12 months ago, or 11 and a half months ago, could not have comprehended where I am currently at, which is someone who has experienced pain of a different caliber, pain much harsher than I could have imagined this year, but someone who has grown not only more humble, but more beautiful and more intelligent and more capable and worthy and valued as a result. But the way that I viewed this year before it began set expectations and put limitations on what I was capable of experiencing, and that made it all the more difficult when I ended up experiencing those things. So essentially, when you're looking into a year and its beginning, and you're kind of putting these expectations and ideals onto what the year is going to be like, take a step back and remember that there are going to be a whole host of things that are going to happen to you that you have zero control over. And they are going to force you to evolve. They are going to force you to change. And expecting something different and trying to micromanage and control your self-evolution and self-growth is not going to help you with those inevitable occurrences that happen. So I don't know, it's just food for thought for you. Something to think about as you head into the new year, something to consider, and it's a piece of writing that really helped to give me clarity and to give me some more happiness. Also, if you read the title of this video and you were waiting for like this special announcement, well, not really special announcement, whatever, I am actually planning a trip for February in a couple months, about a month and a half, to travel to the West Coast. So I'm gonna quickly list off the places I'm hitting. If you live in or near or around those places and you would be willing to either house me, which would be wonderful, or meet up with me and show me around your town or wherever it is, please do leave a comment, message me, email me, anywhere, because I would love to speak to you about it and make this trip something beautiful, because I haven't traveled in a while. I deserve to travel. I deserve to have some fun because I'm only 19, and yeah, and I'd love to meet some of you guys because I know you're all so beautiful. So yes, places I'm going include Colorado. I'm planning on hitting up Denver and Boulder. After Colorado, I'm going to Arizona. If you live in or around Phoenix, Arizona, I do have a friend that I'm staying with, but I would still love to meet up with you and hang out and whatever. After Arizona, I am driving to the Grand Canyon, which is in Arizona. After that, we are road tripping potentially to Southern California and then up to Yosemite. So if you live in San Francisco, Berkeley, Davis area, Sacramento, even Yosemite, please do let me know. And then after Yosemite, I am solo traveling again up to potentially Portland, Oregon. Not positive. If I can find someone to stay with, I will. If I can't, then I probably won't. And then after potentially Portland, Oregon, I'm heading up to Seattle / just Washington in general. I'd love to hit up a park or two up there, so if you're willing to road trip with me or show me around, I would greatly appreciate it. And then after that, I am heading up to Vancouver to stay with some friends that I have there, and I'm really excited about that. I've never been to Canada. It's gonna be super fun, and I'm really, really excited. So yeah, again, if you live in any of those places or around those places and would care to house me or show me around or meet up for coffee or lunch, please do let me know. I would love to hang out with you guys. But anyways, I'm gonna finish drinking my hot chocolate coffee concoction, probably walk around a little bit more, and then get back in my car and blast the heat because I am a frigid person right now. The sun is going down, not to mention that it's like 38 degrees, 35 degrees. So it's really cold. But I'm really excited, and I'm gonna do something I've never done before, which is not put expectations on the upcoming year. So leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'd love to know what you think about what I spoke about today. If you have any other video recommendations, you can feel free to let me know. Leave a like on this video or a comment. It helps me out a lot. And I will speak to you guys soon.